It should have just folded up.
Maybe I was overcomplicating it then.
Probably. Ooh.
Taking your car?
Yeah.
Fanny pack's packed.
Hopefully, I mean, it should be. Oh, I guess it probably is, huh?
My hair look okay?
Is your hair good? Is your hair good? See, I'm just cutting mine off because mine looks like trash. So.
My feet are swinging on the floor here. I don't.
We could try and do like a forced perspective thing. Like if you sit way close and I'll sit way back, it makes it like the same size. Welcome back to the vlog. We are here today. Kyle brought me up. Hopefully y'all can hear us, cause Kyle brought me up here where it's you want Kyle or you want Lander? You want to keep it kayfabe?
It doesn't matter. No, I don't care. Kyle's fine.
It's a cool view. It's a cool place to do an interview. The coolest place I've done an interview yet.
The coolest.
However, hopefully, it's kind of windy. I got the little muff. Hold on, let me show them the muff.
Show them the muff. Can I count down the muff? Switch over?
You want to count down the muff? Switch over?
Cut! We're off to a great start.
We are off to a great start. All right, you wanna count down the muff switch over?
This is like camera inception.
It's camera inception.
All right, muff switch over in 3, 2, 1. So now there's.
So this is the muff. It's supposed to keep the wind noise down, and I've actually been super impressed with the mic, the Rode Mini Micro, the Rode Micro. I've been super happy with the quality that it picks up, but hopefully I haven't really tested it in the wind yet, so hopefully it'll be good in the wind. All right, I'm gonna switch back. You ready? I brought Kyle out here on the road to Spectacle. Kyle, how'd you see you for Spectacle?
I'm excited for it. I've been prepping a whole different way. My meals have changed. My workout intensity's changed. I can't get here soon enough because I'm tired of the change. I want to go back to fast foods and donuts and maybe working out.
Maybe working out.
Yeah, so I need to get here quick.
If it's an option.
Yeah, if I've got time.
I got you. I don't want to know how you got into wrestling. I want to know why you got into wrestling.
Why?
Yeah.
The way I felt watching wrestling was so like meaningful to me as a kid that it changed my entire perspective. Which, from that moment, from the first time I went to the Capitol Convention Center here, and I seen John Cena take on JBL in I believe he was handcuffed and he had like a pillowcase over his head.
John Cena.
Yeah.
To fight JBL.
Yeah.
Here in Springfield.
Yeah. And ever since then, it was
ridiculous.
either here or Peoria. Because as a kid, I went. My first one was here, and the second one ever was Peoria. So, but I don't think it was Peoria. I'm pretty sure it was here.
But you had watched wrestling before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you
I watched wrestling.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that's the first time I ever experienced it live and felt it. And I don't know what it was about that match. I'll never forget it. But the way I felt then, from that match on, always put this. Well, if I do that, will I be able to do wrestling in my life?
Right.
Everything from as a little kid to playing baseball, it was I'm playing baseball so I can become a wrestler.
Yeah.
So I can stay active.
Okay.
The alternatives in high school was I wanted to join the Army, but I thought that if I joined the Army, I'm never gonna be able to become a professional wrestler. If I joined the Army, so that wasn't a thing. Everything from that point forward always was, how is this gonna affect wrestling in the future for me? I didn't want to be anything else after I saw that and after I really got into wrestling, and so that's pretty much why.
That's awesome.
Seeing them being 6'2", 6 foot, 7 feet, I knew I was going to grow up to be a small man. I knew I wasn't going to be. I knew I wasn't going to be huge.
You realized early on.
I took a really hard look at my parents, and I realized my mom's this height, my dad's this height, and I'm just going to be right in the middle. And they're not tall people.
So on the high end, you weren't.
So
looking.
I always,
gotcha.
I always knew it was gonna be super hard for me. Like I always thought like I was gonna have to go straight from the WWE. I didn't know indies were a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know indies were a thing probably until I was like 16.
Okay.
16, 17.
Yep.
I honestly would always look at like videos that would pop up, and I'd be like, why are those guys in their backyard trying to be a wrestler? Like I didn't know it was an actual independent wrestling scene that I was watching. Like, I just thought it was guys trying to be wrestlers.
Yeah.
I always thought it was either straight to the WWE.
Playing around.
Yeah. And,
well, you probably were at that age. There was like a huge boom in backyard wrestling. There was like those videos.
I remember all those videos.
There was like the two videos that came out with Major Guns. And there was like a video game that was like backyard wrestling, backyard extreme or something like that.
I remember that game for I think I had it for the PlayStation 2. I played that game.
How old were you for that?
Really, really young.
Really young?
PlayStation 2, maybe 10.
Yeah.
9 or 10.
9 or 10.
Because
all of that was happening like my first couple years in wrestling. Yeah. So like that was like I remember watching that and being like, you know, like watching that phenomenon break, and I'm trying to break into the business, and I'm just like, you know, I'm here busting my ass trying to learn how to do this right, and here's these idiots getting. I mean, little did I know none of them would ever become anything. But at the time, they were releasing videos, and they were like there was guys getting contracted for this video game doing dumb shit in their backyard, and I was just like, this is what?
Right.
What?
See, I just seen that as something, just a spectacle. Like I didn't know that was like. I just thought it was a game. I didn't know it was like a scene.
You just it's just a thing.
I remember back then thinking the only way I could ever get to the WWE was going to the WWE. And I remember like Google searching all the time how to get into WWE.
Yeah.
Just every school, I would get in trouble at school because they'd look at my search history and it would be all WWE. Like I was so focused as a child on just making my way into the WWE. And I remember finding that Shawn Michaels had his own school.
Yeah.
And I remember begging my parents at like 10, 12 years old, and of course I thought I could do it then.
Right.
I know why they told me no, because I was 12 years old or 10 or whatever it was.
Whatever.
But like I was like, if I can't do that, I'm never gonna get there.
It's never gonna happen.
I can't do that. And the cool thing about thinking about it now is like Daniel Bryan being in his he was in there right around the time that I was learning all of this stuff and seeing where he's at now. Like it just keeps me focused to like where I'm at now with my wrestling career. And people tell me all the time, and I stay humble with it, that I'm good, you know.
Right.
And they tell me all the time I have a good future. And to know that now, I'm only excited for like what the next 10 years is going to bring. Where I'm at in 10 years, physically, mentally, how far in the career, like I'm excited for the journey could come to an end quickly at any point in time. One weekend
any journey can.
Any weekend of the next, something catastrophic could happen where it could put me out. So
I mean, you could decide you don't want to do it anymore. You could decide,
absolutely.
Anything could come along to make you decide it's not worth it anymore. Aside from like injuries, whatever. But
anything. Something could happen. Family, injury, schooling could come up, a job opportunity to travel, anything.
Well, you know, the kids I work with, I always tell them, you set your goal and you move in that direction. If that path, you set your path, you move in that direction, and if at any point that path needs to veer off or you decide to change that, that's fine, but you got to be moving, you know what I mean? You got to have a direction
always
to be
forward.
moving in, otherwise you're just standing still. Yeah, always forward.
That's the mentality I try to take, is always forward, no matter what.
Yep.
The thing I'm always moving forward to right now is wrestling, though.
Yeah.
But there's everything's that always come up on the side that I'm like, man, what if I went that route? How long would it take? But for some reason, it's always like wrestling.
Comes back.
Yeah. This is what I want to do.
It's a hard one to get out of. You know what I mean? I've never been able to peel that. I was not like the child dream. You know what I mean? I honestly didn't even consider it until my first year in college. I saw a magazine for Windy City. I saw in a magazine an article on Windy City Pro Wrestling, which was a school in Chicago, and that was like the first time I had ever been like, there's schools for this. And like the same month I bought that, Scottie Cash started wrestling here in town, and I like, well, I'll go check it out. And like I went and checked it out, and like it pulled me in. And within 6 months I was like, all in. This is it. And haven't stopped yet. Haven't found anything to diverge that path yet. You know. That's
what I feel like I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And when people ask like, how'd you get into it like this or why, it's always the same. It's just because it's something that I don't want to give up now and regret like regret in the future.
Yeah.
Of, like, what if? Like, I want to go until I get hurt. I want to go until there's something definite that comes up that I just cannot pass up on the opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't want to deviate from this course moving forward with wrestling, and then something not work out that I switched it to, and then regret it.
Right.
Like, for whenever I have kids, or just being an inspiration for, you know, little kids that come and watch the show, is like, no matter how hard the road is, no matter how many injuries, if I can always get back up and go forward, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Love it. So you're actually kind of... We were talking a little bit... We were talking... you and I had a conversation recently where you kind of started getting some notoriety and started getting some new Twitter followers and building some kind of social media buzz.
Yeah.
Kind of take us through that, like can you kind of take us through that, and like I don't know where you're at now, if that's still going or if that's started to fall off, or how you're feeling about that. Because
I've always been, like, contrary to popular belief, from what I am now, I was always like anti-social media. Like, I didn't have, most of the thing I had was a Facebook. Like, I didn't care about it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care about having people follow me. I didn't care about anything. I was always a kid outside playing with friends. Like, that, nothing that mattered. When I started wrestling, you know, with PWA, I made my accounts.
Yep.
They were just accounts. Like, they weren't anything. I wasn't like striving for the social media, you know, notoriety, because I didn't know how important it was.
Right.
And then when I really started to traveling, that's when things started to come my way, and when the whole networking, you know, possibilities were out there. Like, I didn't know what networking meant.
Yeah.
I knew about it, I just didn't know how crucial it was until I actually started it. And then one follow led to this, and then a retweet led to this, and then now it's just like taking off, and it's still going up. It's, you know, it's not anything crazy. I'm not verified on Twitter yet, but
come on.
But yeah, so it's going good. I really enjoy the retweets, the tweets. It's kind of cool. I look at it as a different way now. You know, it's 2018. Everything's social media. You got to be on social media if you want to kind of be known. You know, more than just your local area.
Yep.
And it's cool to know that there's people out there that take like time out of their life to retweet what I have to say, to like what I have to say, who care. You know, so I look at it that way. It's pretty cool. I don't look at it as like, yeah, these are all my fans, these are all my people. I just look at it as like, these are people who care about what I'm doing throughout the day, and, you know, show that love through that like button, through that follow. So it's very simple. It's just a click, but to different people, it means, to a lot of people, it means their whole life. Yeah. There's a lot of people who just make a living off social media. Yeah. So, but that's kind of
is that the goal for you? You're gonna where's your vlog?
Well, I'm waiting for you to like give this up, and then you're just like, Kyle, you know what? You want all my cameras? I'm just like, no, Jaron, I can't. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'll take them. I'll probably shoot a couple pictures, and then So I'm waiting for that to happen.
I got you. So okay, you have had some absolutely show-stealing performances overall, particularly this year. So is that? I always don't know how I want to ask this, because all wrestlers, well, most wrestlers come into a show, any given show, with the mindset like, I'm gonna steal the show tonight, you know, or I'm gonna do what I gotta do to steal the show.
I agree on the card.
I agree too.
I think they should.
But what I'm trying to ask, so like, when I'm thinking, when I think of like I always want to go out and steal the show. When I'm putting together my match, I don't think about having a show stealing match. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm always curious, because I've talked to other guys that are like, oh man, you know, I watch all the other matches, and I try to make sure that I'm doing stuff that they aren't doing, and you know, like guys who actually do think, like when they put together their match, they're like, how is this gonna steal the show? And I think there's good and bad to that. So I'm curious on your approach. Like does that enter your mind? Do you just think, you know, because I just want to have the best match. I just want to have my best match and trust that to steal the show. Yeah,
it's been my whole mindset with the way like going into a performance, going into a show has changed from when I started till now, and what a lot of people consider just a short amount of time. And I'm really thankful that it took a short amount of time for me to change my mindset up. And basically, it's like, I don't go in every match, kind of the same with you, wanting like building this show-stealing match.
Right.
I build it to what story. I build it to how can I get emotion, how can I drag emotion out of people, and where can I put that emotion throughout the match on top of these cool things I do, the flips and that kind of stuff. The things that people look at me, and when they say my name and they ask what kind of wrestler is Lander, most of them say high flyer. I love high flying. I've always been kind of an adrenaline junkie. I literally used to walk this. That's one of the reasons why we came up here. I used to walk that. It's very high on the other side. If my mother watches this, I'm sorry. But so I've always been that, adrenaline type person.
I'll make sure we get a good shot of the
yeah. But I've always been an adrenaline person, so like the high flying stuff, that I knew that was gonna be me.
Right.
But I took that and then I started incorporating that with the emotion, basically because people don't like connect with the flips.
Yep.
This is something you once told me a long time ago. People have never flipped. No one in the crowd, or maybe a couple people in the crowd that do some weird stuff at home.
All those backyarders.
Yeah, but most people have never done a 450 off the top rope. No one knows how it feels to land. None of that. They see that as, wow, that's shocking to them. That's cool. But everybody has felt certain things, been kicked down, and are struggling to get back up.
Yeah.
And as a small person, a small wrestler, I immediately grabbed that attention of a lot of people. And I realized that, so I play to that a lot.
Yeah.
So I get that connection really well through the fans, through, anywhere I go. And I always try to build on that.
Yep.
Emotions, what kind of story, even if it's a small match. Because a lot of times, traveling, I get a very small window of matches. Most of the time, it's with a lot of guys in there that just is seemingly impossible to get any type of story or anything cool. A lot of the times when I travel, it's just go get your stuff in.
Right.
You guys eight people have 8 minutes.
Yep.
Go fight each other for 8 minutes. That kind of stuff's very hard. But when I get opportunities like in PWA I'm getting to really, get that emotion, tell a story, I want to do both. I want to be the best at both. I don't want to be just the best flyer. I don't want to be just go out there and have story. I want to do my best to incorporate them both to really have my match talked about at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Versus even if it's not the best one on the card, I want mine to be remembered.
Yep.
And people remember emotions. People remember how they feel. They don't, they're not going to remember my 450 some Japanese name for it. They're going to remember how they felt during that match.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my mentality for matches and how I wrestle for probably the past 6-7 months.
Yep. I like it. That's great. Talk to me about how you feel about Spectacle.
Spectacle for me.
How many of you have? First of all, are you 3?
3.
3? Okay.
Yeah. The first one, I was in I think it was the 8-man tag with me and Roscoe.
Yeah.
And then the second one, the first one I actually performed twice at Spectacle. So I had that, and then I had a match with Brian.
Did the thing with Brian.
And then the second one, which is so crazy to think that there's nothing in between, how much I changed and grew up in wrestling just from one to the other. I look back at pictures, I'm like, gross. I thought I was cool. I thought I was the shit, and I just was the complete opposite. I was the shits.
And a year's a long time.
Yeah.
You don't realize that.
Yeah. But then the second one I had, I was with Sage, me and Sage, and then now's the third one.
Right.
So 3. I always look at Spectacle as the biggest show of the year, so I always want to, pull out all the stops in any match. But now with being, the main event for this year's Spectacle, the pressure is on, but I like that. At the end of the night, all eyes are going to be on me and KC, and I've only got one thing on my mind for that match, and that's to take his title and be, I don't know, would I be the youngest champion? Is that an accolade of that?
I have to assume so.
Would I be?
I'm terrible at keeping up on stats like that and stuff.
It's
Crime Fighter all the time is telling me oh, this, you've got this many wins or this or that.
Yeah, he knows everything.
Or I'll just say something random and Crime Fighter will be like, actually, it was this. And I'm like, well, you got me. So I have no mind for that kind of thing. But I would bet you're younger than Derek. All right, man. Well, thanks for sitting down with me.
Yeah.
Always good to chat. Anywhere on social media you want these guys to find you?
You can find me on Twitter at I am Lander, which is IAM_Lander. And
I'll make sure and put it up on the screen too.
Scrolling this way, or maybe up. But then Instagram, Lander_Wrestling. Obviously, that's my Instagram. And then Facebook.com/Lander Wrestling.
Boom.
That's where you can keep up with me on anything. Everywhere I go, traveling, shows, stories.
Go and check them out.